No, I'm very lucky to work in Norway. It's probably one of the safest places in the world to work as a journalist.
Prime Minister Modi, why don't you take some questions from the freest press in the world?
So that's also why it's so important for us to question the powerful world leaders that come to Norway, because we have such good working.
Prime Minister Modi, why don't you take some questions from the freest press in the world?
Yes, of course, I've read a lot about it, but also I think when I listen to the questions that the Indian media asks, it's not that critical. And I get it, because you guys are working under a lot of pressure, and there are journalists being killed in India. Of course, I appreciated the embassy inviting me. I was also invited before they put that Twitter statement out. But the situation at that press conference that they held was that they take questions, and then they take a lot of questions, and then they will collect the questions before they start answering. And that's not ideal for critical journalism, because in critical journalism, you have to tap into and counter argue. So I had no opportunity to really go back and forth. And I also asked, is it possible for you to just take my question and then answer straight away so we can go back and forth?
नमस्कार, मैं नवीन कुमार नंदन, आप देख रहे हैं बाम सेफ न्यूज। बीते 24 घंटे से जो महिला पत्रकार सिर्फ भारत ही नहीं बल्कि पूरी दुनिया में वायरल है, वो महिला पत्रकार हमारे साथ हैं। हमारी सहयोगी प्रियंका चौबे भी हमारे साथ मौजूद है। मेरी इंग्लिश कमजोर है, सब लोग जानते हैं, इसलिए मैंने अपने सहयोगी प्रियंका चौबे को भी इस बातचीत में शामिल किया है। प्रियंका जी, आप सवाल पूछिए पहला कि जब से वायरल हैं तब से लेकर के क्या इनको धमकी मिल रही है या लोग अप्रिशिएट कर रहे हैं इनके काम को, क्योंकि इन्होंने भारत के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी से सवाल पूछने की कोशिश की और प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने इनके सवालों के जवाब नहीं दिए।
So, Helle, by the time like this interview got over with the conference, did you feel threatened, or did you feel some sort of external pressure coming to you post since your question was unattended? So did you feel any external pressure on this?
No.
To you?
I'm very lucky to work in Norway. It's probably one of the safest places in the world to work as a journalist. So that's also why it's so important for us to question the powerful world leaders that come to Norway, because we have such good working conditions, and probably the best in the world. So I didn't feel any threatened at all. And he didn't want to answer the question. I wasn't expecting him to, because he doesn't take questions. That's a democratic problem, because any democracy should have a free and independent press. That's one of the pillars of democracy. And the fact that the Indian Prime Minister doesn't value that, but still claims to be the largest populated democracy in the world, that's alarming.
प्रियंका, इनसे जरा पूछिए कि नरेंद्र मोदी से जो सवाल इन्होंने पूछा, इनका मकसद क्या था, क्या उम्मीद थी? नरेंद्र मोदी जवाब देंगे?
So, Helle, what was the objective behind the question you asked Mr. Modi that day? It was a pre-planned question, or just a spontaneous question came in your mind and you thought to ask across?
That's a good question. I don't obviously, I think we should tackle questions about press freedom and human rights when we can and have the opportunity here in Norway. So that's what I wanted to focus on. But I also wanted to try to see, okay, maybe he'll take a few questions. Or just ask him, why don't you take a few questions? Because it's important to place responsibility where the power is. And Modi is a very powerful man. And I'm sure the answers to my question would have been interesting itself.
भारत की मीडिया और नॉर्वे की मीडिया में कितना अंतर देखती है हेले लिंग?
Do you see any extreme differences between Indian media and Norwegian media?
Yes, of course, I've read a lot about it, but also I think when I listen to the questions that the Indian media asks, it's not that critical. And I get it because you guys are working under a lot of pressure and there are journalists being killed in India. I think the Reporters Without Borders said it's about 2 to 3 a year. That's alarming, even for such a big country. And I've read some of the stories. It makes me it's a profoundly sad to read. And that's why it's also so important that we here in Norway do our job when we have these powerful people coming to our town.
मैं कह रहा हूं कि हमारे प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी गए हुए थे नॉर्वे, तो जो बातचीत करने के लिए कहीं ना कहीं उसमें एक बड़ी बाधा के तौर पर हेले लिंग अब सामने आ चुकी हैं। एक बड़ी बाधा आ गई है। मकसद वो पूरा नहीं हो पाएगा।
Okay, so the question is, the kind of conference was already pre-planned, and Mr. Modi had arrived Norway for the conference. And considering that, the kind of question he got passed through via you and he could not answer that, now it is being criticized across India. I'm not sure about the international media, how exactly they are behaving at this point, but it is a very critical situation right now here, that why this was very brutally ignored. So is there any criticism you are also facing, or do you really think that it is going to create some challenges in order to have the those trade benefits or relations between India and Norway?
That's also a good question. I don't see that if a reporter's question is ruining a trade deal, then that's a very bleak situation for India, and not something that I can really I can't even fathom, or I don't plan for that. I just ask questions, which is in my right. And Norway, a few days ago, we celebrated our constitution. It's 17th of May, and press freedom is a very vital part of that. And I'm just exercising the rights I have as a Norwegian journalist, and I ask the questions I want to ask. And then the Prime Minister has a different job. He wants to balance trade relations, but while also acknowledging that there are some very big challenges in India when it comes to human rights and press freedom. And that's his job. And then I will do mine.
हेले लिंग ने मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर MEA से जो बातचीत किया है, जो बहस हुई है, तीखी नोकझोंक हुई है, उस पर क्या ओपिनियन है इनका?
Helle, you have been through certain arguments with MEA, Ministry of External Affairs.
Oui.
So, I mean, what is your opinion on this? Would you like to highlight some of the facts? Like, is it affecting you positively, or still you will resonate it from the freedom of speech? Or what are the pros and cons you're having at this point?
Of course, I appreciated the embassy inviting me. I was also invited before they put that Twitter statement out. But the situation at that press conference that they held was that they take questions, and then they take a lot of questions, and then they will collect the questions before they start answering. And that's not ideal for critical journalism, because in critical journalism, you have to tap into and counter argue. So I had no opportunity to really go back and forth. And I also asked, is it possible for you to just take my question and then answer straight away so we can go back and forth? And I tried that and they said no. And then when the answer came, they started talking about, my question was if India deserves the trust the Nordic countries are giving them, given the human rights violations and the violations on press freedom. And they start answering and highlighting some of India's achievements. India is a great country. I've always wanted to go, and I hope to go one day. And India's done so much good for the world, and I'm sure India can do a lot more as well. And of course, our Prime Minister looks to India for renewable energy, and it's also exciting times. But that wasn't what I was asking. So then I have to interrupt him so that I don't get just talking points. Because if I just come back to my editorial with talking points, then I haven't done my job. And I tried to do my job, but it was difficult yesterday.
हेले लिंग को डर नहीं लगता सरकार से सवाल करेंगी तो उनको जेल भेज दिया जाएगा या अलग तरीकों से परेशान किया जाएगा?
Helle, at this point, don't you feel threatened? Like if you question anything with the government who is already in ruling, so you will be having some consequences negatively impacted to your personal life or professional life?
I don't know how it will unfold. I never experienced this before, but I know that my number is leaked, and some say my address is leaked. I hope they have one of the other addresses. I've lived several places in Norway, but that's of course what I find most worrying, and I don't like that. And I do hope that we can. Even if you don't like my journalism, I hope you can give me constructive feedback instead. And a lot of people has done that. But overall, the support of the Indian people and the community has been overwhelming. And it really warms my heart. It's so many nice people messaging me and just also giving me their perspective, how it is for them. And that's, of course, important. And I'm very happy. I'm very also privileged that my journalism or my reporting reached India, and that it's also sparked a debate with the opposition leader. That was
cool. Trending a lot. People are using that particular clip to circulate and have more insights on this. What could have been done better?
Yes, and it's interesting. I always, after a day like that, it doesn't happen that often, but it happens sometimes. I always think, what could I have done a little bit better? And I'm still trying to process everything that happened yesterday, but I'm sure as a reporter and you're trying to do something that's maybe not the status quo of what you're being expected to do. They were just expecting us to sit there and listen. And that's not how we do it in Norway. And it shouldn't be either. So I'm also very grateful for the politicians of my country. And I have no backlash from them whatsoever. And that's how it is in Norway. In Norway, the Prime Minister of Norway will go to the smallest town in Norway and he'll take questions from the local newspaper there, if he's there, of course. So we have very great access to our politicians. And also, of course, we have completely different roles when we have a state visit like this. And I don't think I made his job easier yesterday. But I think in Norway, you just respect that we are the press, and we work the way we want to work.
सवाल ये है, प्रियंका पूछेगा कि क्या ये लोग जर्नलिस्ट हैं, क्या ये लोग इस वहां के प्रधानमंत्री से ऐसे सवाल नहीं पूछते कि आप बटुआ रखते हैं नहीं रखते हैं, आप कौन सी टॉनिक लेते हैं कि एनर्जी आपकी खत्म नहीं होती है, आप हमेशा जो है हंसते मुस्कुराते रहते हैं, उसके पीछे की वजह क्या है, आप घूमने कहाँ जाते हैं, आप आम कैसे खाते हैं, काट कर खाते हैं, चूस कर खाते हैं, पूछिए जरा.
So this question is like out of context, Helle, I'll be asking you.
Go ahead, go
So,
for it.
do you guys question your prime minister or leading position in the country, that how they are able to manage their life so joyfully, like how they enjoy the vacations, how they fulfill their wallets all the time, how exactly they're able to enjoy the life they are doing?
The politicians of Norway?
Politicians, yeah, or prime minister of Norway.
That's a fun question. I think they're good with work-life balance, but I know our prime minister, he's very fond of skiing, and the same with the finance minister. Sometimes the two of them go skiing together. I've seen some photos, at least. It might be a little bit of a PR as well for the party, by the party. But I think they have work-life balance, but I also think the job right now is tough, and that they might not be getting that much sleep right now, and that not that much balance either. But I think historically we've probably been good at that.
Got it. Okay. So, Helle, how can relations between India and Norway in future could be improved, or what could be the better strategies so that it helps both the country in order to have the economical relief and in order to have the further other trade benefits as well?
That's a great question, and I think it's just way beyond the scope of what I was trying to do yesterday. I think that's for our politicians to decide. It's for your politicians to decide. It's for mine, and it's also for my politicians to try to figure out and navigate. Are we enabling Moody and to violate human rights further? What are the cons of these deals that we're making now? What in 20 years, when we look back at this and maybe the world is different, will we think that we did something wrong just because we're scared of Trump?
Got it. Do you face any criticism lately on social media since your clip is so viral? Yeah.
A lot. A lot. It's been some very mean comments, and some a lot of people call me, and some people call me bitch, and other very strong words that I don't use myself when I want to argue with someone that I don't know. And but most of all, the Indian people have been amazing. They're very cool, and they've been very supportive and appreciated my work, which I really appreciate as well. And I'm gonna try to get back to everyone that's texted me, but it might take me a week or two. It just has to, because now it's still coming in. The inbox is coming in, so now I just have to wait till the situation calms down.
राहुल गांधी का इंटरव्यू करना चाहती हैं, तो कौन से सवाल हैं जो बचे हुए हैं नरेंद्र मोदी जी से नहीं पूछ पाई, राहुल गांधी जी से सवाल पूछेंगी।
दोबारा बोलिए।
राहुल गांधी से बातचीत करना चाहती हैं हेले लिंग, क्या बातचीत करेंगी, क्या जानेंगे उनके बारे में, क्योंकि वो तो एलओपी है ना, डायरेक्ट गवर्नमेंट नहीं है राहुल गांधी।
So, Helle, the question is
What were you saying?
basically.
Oh, could you hold on 1 second?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I call you guys back?
Yeah, we can reconnect.
And my editor is calling me in, so I just have to get a quick call because I have to leave soon. I'll call you guys back in
Understood.
3 minutes.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
देखिए, हमारे साथ जुड़ी हुई थी हेले लिंग, जो बीते कई घंटों से सोशल मीडिया पर वायरल है, और हमने उनसे बातचीत किया तो उन्होंने साफ तौर पर कहा कि जब वे लोग प्रधानमंत्री, मतलब नॉर्वे के प्रधानमंत्री जो प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करते हैं, तो उनको किसी भी प्रकार से कोई स्क्रिप्ट नहीं दी जाती है, वे लोग अपने मन से सवाल करते हैं, और इसीलिए नंबर 1 पर नॉर्वे है, इसीलिए वहां पर पत्रकारों को रोका नहीं जाता है। खैर, इस खास पेशकश में बस इतना ही, लेकिन आप लोगों से अपील है, बाम सेफ न्यूज को चलाने के लिए हमें आप लोगों की मदद चाहिए। हमारा फोन पे, गूगल पे, पेटीएम नंबर चल रहा है 9452853268। आप लोग अपने हिसाब से हमारी मदद कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि हमें कहीं से फंड नहीं मिलता, हम आम जनता से डोनेशन लेकर के बाम सेफ न्यूज को चलाते हैं, और इसी बेबाकी के साथ हम लोग आप तक सच्चाई को पहुंचाने की पूरी कोशिश करते हैं। उम्मीद है आप लोग मदद जरूर करेंगे। धन्यवाद।